Welcome to Happy Hour Films at the Oscars. We're back
Because
again
we
for the
are
second,
endlessly more qualified to decide on the best pictures than the actual Academy.
as always, and we'll get into it. They're messing up again, but it's the Academy. They kind of come to expect that at this point.
They're kind of like the Jets. If they pick something, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's just wrong. And did you see the thing where they're like looking into one of the best actors like nominees or whatever?
No, I
The,
didn't.
they're looking into like how she campaigned or something for the nomination. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous because nothing's gonna come of it. And why not have a little controversy so somebody can watch your show?
Yeah,
Because
you got to top Will Smith smacking Chris
I was
Rock.
say you banned Will Smith, who he can't slap anybody again. So why don't we just jump right away into a couple categories that we want to talk about. We're not going to go nuts and talk about everything because I don't like watching the actual Oscars talk about everything. So we're just going to talk about the normal stuff. Let's start off with Best Animated Feature Film, which nominees include Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red. Now, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is the third Pinocchio movie released this year,
And it's easily the best.
good one.
It's easily the best.
It's the good one.
Pinocchio dies, goes to the afterlife, and the afterlife, like the equivalent of a god's like, yeah, your life is unnatural, and we don't want your soul in the afterlife.
You are an abomination. But I mean, I've only seen Turning Red. Like odds are, since that's the Pixar one, that's the one they're going to go with.
Yeah, I've seen 4 of the 5. Marcel the Shell is the only one I haven't seen, and we're gonna go with like what we would pick versus what we think would get picked. And if I'm being honest, I would be fine with Puss in Boots, Sea Beast, or Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Any one of them would be worthy of getting the best animated picture. Not even going to mention Jujutsu Kaisen Zero because I didn't really expect it to get a nomination.
You're not getting anything anime.
Yeah,
put it on here
unless it's Studio Ghibli. You're not getting an anime. But I think Turning Red's probably going to win because of the Disney Pixar bias.
It's also the safe bet. It's the safe bet, and it's of all of these. It's also the most, to use a terrible term, but it's the only thing that correctly describes it. It's the most politically safe one too, because it ticks off all of the diversity boxes. It's about
does as well.
Well, but is it a Pixar? Is that a Pixar movie?
It's not a Pixar movie. It's a Netflix original.
The big box there, it has to be a Pixar movie first because we have to give Pixar the movie, the award. But then it's about an Asian family and an Asian character. It is about a Canadian, which we all know is a strange and magical land. But there's also like, it's about women. It's about girls and their struggles going through puberty. And it's a very safe pick for the Academy because they can go with Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio because it's the Disney character, but it's
probably the best movie up for it.
But it's also a scary director to give an animated film. The consequences of giving Guillermo del Toro an animated best movie, because then you've already given him best feature. You've already done that with, I think, Shape of Water.
Now, I will say, when we did our best of 2022, I had already seen Sea Beast. I didn't see Pinocchio or Puss in Boots yet, and I said Sea Beast was worthy of the best animated picture there.
And I don't think Puss in Boots was released yet. It might not have been released yet.
Puss in Boots 2 was legitimately awesome. Like, I loved it.
I've only ever seen Puss in Boots in whatever Shrek movie he shows up in. I've never seen like his individual movies.
Puss in Boots 2, I would argue, might be the best movie in the Shrek repertoire.
I mean, how hard is that to really?
But I mean, Shrek won.
Well, still, but at least with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, at least they're doing like the Into the Spider-Verse kind of like animation for it.
Oh yeah, the animation looks awesome in it.
Which thankfully Into the Spider-Verse did, because that opens us up from doing like the standard Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks animation. Like, it's suddenly giving credit to like creative art direction, you know?
And then also, I'm not saying Turning Red is a bad movie by any means. I thought it was fine.
It's fine.
To me, it's the fourth best of the four I watched.
Yeah. And the thing is, and I haven't looked it over. I don't know if Billie Eilish gets any nomination for her work. I'm looking at music original song. No, nothing from Turning Red's there, which usually for the Disney ones at least has one pop up. You know, it's at least one pop up because Billie Eilish did, and like I think it was her brother did the music for Turning Red, and for the boy band that's in that Four Town or whatever it is.
Yeah,
but it's Turning Red will more than likely win, but I want to see it go to Del Toro because I want it to be that chaos. Like, oh my God, this lunatic got an animated movie nomination. All hell is like all bets are off. All bets are off.
Now I have reasons why I would like to see, like for the reasons you said, I'd like to see Del Toro win it. For the fact that it's not a Disney or Pixar movie, I'd like to see Sea Beast win it. And for the fact that it's such a big improvement over what I've already seen from Puss in Boots and recent Shrek movies, I'd like to see Puss in Boots win it. So I'd be fine with any of the three, but I guess I'm going to go with Sea Beast is still my favorite of the three.
Yeah, and that's probably a good choice. I'll probably never end up watching
but it's Carl Urban.
You know, I mean, yeah. Sure. But all right, so why don't we go into actress in a supporting role, which the nominees of that are Angela Bassett from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Hong Chow from The Whale, Kerry Condon from The Banshees of Inisherin, Jamie Lee Curtis from Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Stephanie Sue. I believe it's pronounced Sue. I don't know if it's Hasu, but it's Sue from Everything Everywhere All at Once. And I have only seen Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think both of them being nominated is fine. Yeah. Definitely, I think it should go to Stephanie Sue, though.
So I saw The Whale and Banshees of Inisherin as well. As much as I liked Everything Everywhere All at Once better, I'm gonna say Kerry Condon from Banshees of Inisherin deserves it. She was really like in a movie that had a lot of good performances. She was really a standout in my book.
Now the real question is, because we have to ask it nowadays because the Academy is so scared of it, what is the diversity win? Is it Angela Bassett?
I mean, I like Angela Bassett. I haven't seen Wakanda Forever.
Neither have I. It starts streaming on February 1st, and I probably still won't watch it then. I'm so sick of Marvel at the moment.
Because I haven't seen it, I can't say that she wasn't deserving. Like, she's a good actress. So
yeah, she probably deserved. She's deserved it before this.
Yeah.
If anything, they're going to give it to her for a legacy win. You know, it's
I guess that would be okay with me. I do think like for the movies that are present, she's not my top choice, but if she won it, I don't think I'd be mad about it.
I mean, it would be the one that gets talked about the most.
Yeah,
absolutely, because they can't give it to Chadwick Boseman for that movie because he died before it even started filming. You know, which they absolutely would had he been in it and died after it finished filming. He'd be the guaranteed lock for best lead actor because that's what the Academy loves to do. They love to give you dead Oscars. And now that Heath Ledger set the precedent that a comic book movie can win an Oscar, a performance can win an Oscar, they give it to him and say, hey, that's the precedent, despite him even earning it, like actually earning it for that movie at least.
Yeah.
But all right. Yeah. And then again, I don't have anything else that like any other movies I can think of other than Madonna. You know, Evan Rachel Wood as Madonna in Weird, the Al Yankovic story. That's a snub right there. She deserved it.
It's funny, when we get to biggest snub, my snub isn't even for any of the categories we're talking about. So
gotcha. All right. So now we'll just go from actress to actor in supporting role. We have Brendan Gleeson, Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry in something called Causeway, Judd Hirsch in The Fablemans, Barry Keoghan from The Banshees of Inisherin, and Ki-Hye Kwan from Everything Everywhere All at Once. I think we know who's going to win this, and it's definitely going to be Ki-Hye Kwan.
I actually think I think the Banshees of Inisherin is been being pushed, so I think Brendan Gleeson has a good shot at it. But I think Kihei Kwan deserves it.
He's definitely, I think he obviously deserves it, but he's definitely going to win it because he's already won the Golden Globe for it, I think.
Okay.
Which a lot of times is your like springing off point to win the Oscar.
Yeah.
And especially given
but I also feel the Golden Globes tends to be more open to like not Oscar-y movies.
Yeah, but that's more for like the nominations. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna get a bunch of crap nominated, but the winners are usually the ones that are going to be nominated for Oscars and end up winning. But with this though, it's going to be it's his overall story in Hollywood that I think that people are really leaning on. The fact that he was short round in Temple of Doom, and then he was in Goonies, and and then he was gone. And now he's back.
He's definitely my pick to win it. Though again, Brendan Gleeson and Barry Coogan were both very good in Banshees of Inisherin. Even though it wasn't my favorite movie, I thought the individual performances were really good. And with the way it's being the way it was being pushed for the Oscars, it wouldn't surprise me if Brendan Gleeson ends up winning it.
I think that's going to be the movie that everybody talks about being the one that deserved it, but never did. That didn't get recognized for anything. I think that's what that's going to end up
being. We'll get to. I think they end up maybe getting supporting actress. I'm not sure though, or best. One of the best screenplay things.
Probably. All right. So on the actress in a leading role, we have nominees are Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie with a big asterisk next to it because that's the one that's being investigated right now, apparently. Michelle Williams because she was in a movie that was a drama, so you have to nominate her. I think that's the new Meryl Streep rule. You have to nominate Michelle Williams now for Fabelmans, and then Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now,
I haven't seen enough of these movies to give a proper analysis. Like I want to say Michelle Yeoh, but I really don't know. I know Cate Blanchett and Ana de Armas are both always awesome, and The Fabelmans is like a Hollywood story like that. That's the Spielberg one, right? Like
it's
I feel
the
like
Spielberg
Hollywood
one about
loves
Spielberg.
to pat Hollywood on the back.
It's The Fabelmans is the one that is very up its own ass about being up its own ass because it's Spielberg's story of Spielberg. You know, it's got it. We'll get to one about Best Picture, but for Michelle Williams to be nominated for it, like I said, she's like the new Meryl Streep. If she's in a drama that's a prestige drama, she gets nominated. It just happens. And the problem I have with this category is that Michelle Yeoh absolutely deserves it.
Yeah,
she absolutely deserves it. But it will.
But you loved Ana de Armas, so you want to give it to her.
Not for this role, not for her weird ass portrayal. It's a fine portrayal of Marilyn Monroe, but that fucking movie is kind of weird.
I didn't see it,
but it's a complete shock of a nomination. I can tell you that. Like, there's what really? Okay, but the winner of this will absolutely be Cate Blanchett. It will absolutely be Cate Blanchett for Tar. I don't see them not giving it to her, and. It's a shame, but then again, it's Cate Blanchett, and I have nothing against her personally. It's just she is the Oscar darling most of the time, and they're going to give it to her. I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it, but I also haven't seen the movie.
Michelle Yeoh was awesome.
Michelle Yeoh was just the best, and I've never heard of To Leslie, and I guarantee I never will see it. But there's no reason for Mandy. The duffel bag burning corpse to win an Oscar. And I'm sure she's fine, but that's definitely one of the nominations that they always have where it's like, what movie's that? It's like that's a movie. But all right, so on to Best Actor in a Leading Role. We have Austin Butler as the king of as Elvis, Colin Farrell, Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser as the Whale, Paul Mescal in Aftersun, and Bill Nye in Living. Now, this is a tough category because there's a lot of
in here.
What's that?
You got some heavy hitters in here.
Heavy hitters, but in movies where you're like, nobody fucking saw that. Like, nobody saw that movie. Mm-hmm. And it's it'll go to, I guarantee it goes to Austin Butler. It'll go to Austin Butler for playing Elvis. I almost guarantee it.
I would hate, like, I feel like Brendan Fraser or Colin Farrell seem like the most deserving here. Like,
Yeah.
I thought Elvis was fine, but it wasn't
It'll go to
anything
him.
special.
I mean, Brendan Fraser is the one that the internet's going to campaign for.
Yeah.
But, and he's another feel good story about Hollywood.
Yeah.
But everyone, it's going to go to Elvis. It's going to, because even though it's a real, it's the Oscars love to give you Oscars for playing real people.
Yeah, they love the biographics,
especially, and they love it when that real person is a famous musician.
Yeah.
You know, like the most famous musician. They love when that happens.
Yeah, my pick would either be Colin Farrell was again good in the Banshees of Inisherin, but I guess my pick is I want Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, but then again, history of this category shows you that if you're in an obscure ass movie but you're a recognizable name, they might give it to you.
Yeah,
you know, like Bill Nye might win it for living simply because he's Bill Nye. You know.
Yeah, I mean, and I like Bill Nye. I haven't seen the movie, so
I mean, I don't think anyone's seen the movie.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think anyone's seen that movie. But all right, so real quick, we'll go to directing, which nominees Banshees of Inisherin from Martin McDonagh, Everything Everywhere All at Once with Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert, Spielberg for Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Robert Ostlund for Triangle of Sadness. Now, this one, if it doesn't go to Spielberg, I will be flat out flabbergasted.
Yeah, Spielberg seems like the Oscar choice, but the obvious choice is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, if I could give them every Oscar this year, I would probably do it.
But the problem is, it's the Oscars and Spielberg is nominated. You know, that's the problem. And that's who that's going to go to. And if it goes to anybody else, it'll be completely insane. Like, it'll be completely legitimately shocking to me. It'll be the only shocking thing the Oscars have ever done. Ever. And all right, so now we're going to get to the big dog category, the one that everyone actually probably gives the most about. But
I swear to fuck, if this goes to All Quiet on the Western Front, I'm going to be pissed.
All right, so our nominees are, like Mike said, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Fabelmans, Tar, Top Gun Maverick, Triangle of Sadness, and of course, Women Talking. Now, let's go through these one by one and let's explain why they are even nominated. All Quiet on the Western Front,
War movie of the year.
Movie. Congrats, you're nominated for Best Picture. Avatar: The Way of Water.
I have no fucking clue.
James Cameron, congrats, you're nominated for Best Picture. Banshees of Inisherin, you need one that people are kind of like, ooh, it's the dark horse, blah, blah, blah. There's your answer. Elvis, congrats, you're about a famous musician, you're nominated. Everything Everywhere All at Once, the popular pick, the one that the internet
everyone saw and loved.
The one that the internet loves. The Fabelmans, congratulations.
Hollywood.
You made a movie about Steven Spielberg made a movie about Steven Spielberg in Hollywood. Congratulations, you're nominated. Tar, congratulations, you're an artsy film about a difficult character or a conflicted character, and it's also a woman. Congratulations, you're nominated. Now here's the fun part. Triangle of Sadness. This is the one where it's like, what movie? What is it?
You skipped Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, I didn't skip Top Gun Maverick. I purposely jumped over him at first. Triangle of Sadness. This is the one where it's like, oh, this is the foreign film. Okay. Women Talking. Congratulations. This is your diversity pick right here. Because this movie, I don't even think is out yet. I think this is coming out this week. And for some reason, everyone is like, guess it's Women Talking. That's got to be diverse in some way. Oh, look, Frances McDormand's in it. Yep, we're definitely going to be involved. She's also a producer, I think. So yeah, let's nominate that. Now, there is the one that deserves to be the best picture, and that's Top Gun Maverick. There's your best picture right there. That's what it's going to be. Our boy Tommy Cruise is going to win his best picture award for this movie.
Now, I liked Top Gun Maverick more than I thought I would because I don't like the original, and you don't
No,
either.
I hate the movie. I hate the original.
But I think that there's two that the Oscars are going to pick because they're the Oscars. There's two that are probably going to win, and that is All Quiet on the Western Front or The Fablemans because it's about Hollywood.
The award is going to go to The Fablemans. It's the movie that every critic is up their own ass about, saying it's the greatest movie ever made, because guess what? It's not really a stereotypical about Hollywood movie. It's like, yeah, it is. It's Steven Spielberg telling a fictionalized version of his own life story. It is absolutely an Oscar movie.
I've made it clear my pick is gonna be Everything Everywhere All at Once because like that is my best movie of the year. That's my pick for best movie of the year.
I mean, and it is of all of those my pick would either be Top Gun Maverick or Everything Everywhere All at Once, just because those are the two most entertaining and just enthralling, like engrossing movies. You can say what you want about Top Gun Maverick being a blockbuster, but that movie is engaging and great from moment one. And it's also not just like a gloss over, this is a Hollywood blockbuster story. It gets fairly deep into the ideas of aging, of even like nepotism for the most part, when it like who you know in your job, like that shit, like stuff like that.
Now, time to talk about our biggest snubs. Ross, can you guess what mine's going to be?
I'm going to go ahead and say some sort of anime movie.
No, it's not.
Then no, I don't know.
So it's partially for Best Picture because I think it was deserving of getting Best Picture, but mostly I'm saying it's a snub from cinematography. Can you guess now?
It's from the
Northman.
I was just saying from the category of cinematography. I didn't have it pulled up, but yes, the Northman. That is
the fact that did not get nominated for best cinematography is insane.
Yeah.
The cinematography is beautiful in that movie.
Well, I'm looking at the nominees for cinematography, and Mike, of course, you saw Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths. Everyone saw that movie, so we all know that deserves to be in it.
Dude,
we all know it deserves to be in it because that's a movie that people have heard of and probably actually exists. I'm sure it does. But yeah, this is where the question becomes, is Robert Eggers ever going to make a movie that will simultaneously be widely entertaining, which The Northman is? It can appeal to a wide audience. It was just marketed horribly.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing is it's an amazing movie from, like you said, at least a cinematography perspective. It looks beautiful.
I do think it was good enough to get nominated for Best Picture. It was like my number 3 or 4 best movie of the year.
Yeah, it's a great movie, but it's not a
definitely deserved more than Avatar: Way of Water.
But it's about war, but it's not about World War II. It's not about World War One. It's not about the big 3 world wars, 1, 2, and Vietnam. So that disqualifies it right there. It's not, it's foreign, but they're white people foreign. So that disqualifies it right there. They're speaking English in it, which if you're going to go for the foreign nominee, that disqualifies it right there. The thing is, it's also not a Netflix movie. So that disqualifies it from being nominated right now as well, because that's also where they're going. Like, I think it's All Quiet on the Western Front. I think it's a Netflix movie. And even though Hollywood loves to say that Netflix is the death of Hollywood, they can't stop kissing its ass. And because they're finally realizing that people watch more than just what's in the theater or just what's in a little corner boutique theater in New York for 3 days, like whatever that movie was that I just named that got nominated for cinematography. You know, it's the problem comes that when you look at these nominees, most of them, everyone's at least heard of. The only one that they probably haven't heard of is Triangle of Sadness. And it's also the one that there isn't a identifiable star in. Everything else, except for maybe All Quiet on the Western Front, every other movie you can say, hey, I know that guy. Hey, that's Tom Hanks. Hey, that's the Riddler from the Batman. You know, that's Michelle Yeoh. I may not know who she is, but I recognize her face. You know, it's all that stuff. But then you see something like Avatar, and it's like, if James Cameron didn't personally force them to nominate that thing, I'd be shocked to find out why they nominated it, because it's almost too popular to be nominated for an Oscar. I can't remember if Avatar was. It didn't win. I'm pretty sure about that.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know.
Maybe like just leave Avatar in the visual effects. That's where it belongs.
Right. I mean, we can say that it was nominated. The original was nominated for Best Picture. We can say that Avatar is a good story and blah, blah, blah. And you can lie to yourself all you want, but it's not. I don't care.
Taylor's a turncoat. She said Avatar 2 was a good movie.
She's no longer welcome on this podcast. But that's the thing. The problem is you have to nominate a popular movie. Now, Top Gun Maverick getting nominated is kind of insane to me.
Yeah.
Because it is the opposite of maybe it's popular and artsy. You know, it's not. Avatar, at least you can say the technological achievements are what got it on here. But Top Gun Maverick, it's like, what are you actually going to recognize stunt performing? You know, I don't think so.
We also left out that Nick Cage did not get nominated for Best Actor for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and Daniel Radcliffe did not get nominated for Best Actor for Weird.
And that is my biggest snub. That Weird, the Al Yankovic story, was not nominated for Best Picture. Just proves that this is a corrupt organization with corrupt people in it who they're not in touch with what's an actual good movie. I've said it.
Agreed.
I said it. So that was our coverage of the Oscar nominations. Now look forward to our actual post-Oscars video we're going to do. We're not going to do one that we did like we did last year. We're not going to try to do it on the night of the Oscars where we try to talk, but we're actually going to do like a recap, like, oh, this is garbage, this was good, blah, 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 blah. But it'll probably come out a week after everything's relevant anyway, like this one is as the nominees were. So until next time, when we're talking about the aftermath of all this stuff that we talked about, see if we were right or not. I have been Ross Bacon.
I've been Mike McWigan.
And we'll see you guys next time. So long.